The race of race. Everyone starts at the same line, whether it's Pangea or the Big Bang, and with that Big Bang, the race begins. As countries move apart, so do people. People's perceptions move to different ideas, such as race, origin, ignorance, or just plain old hate. It is when we forget about the power of love that the race truly begins. This is when the pushing and shoving starts. The shoves that signal that I'm better and you're the scum beneath my feet. The pushes that say you're the color of dirt, like an animal, a white supremacist. The pushing and shoving evolves. Gnashing of teeth turns into gunpowder and Jim Crow laws, into a discrimination that burns red hot to the very core of the girl in her hijab, the boy in his kippah, to the people with beautiful skin of different colors with something even better on the inside, and those who have to witness all of these atrocities. Some people in the race try to bring peace and love, with referee whistle-blows and sit-ins, through declarations and speeches that pass and abolish laws. Others turn to hate and violence that breeds more of the same, and swiftly turns it into discrimination and a pain that even affects the little boy who is just trying to endure this seemingly cruel world. The pain moves through generation after generation, century after century. It is a pain that stretches over a millennium. If we don't all become aware of this continuous cycle of pain for most and gain for few, of little change and more stalling, of discrimination that doesn't go away but just moves on to someone else, we will be doomed to never see an origin of healing that starts by finishing a race where everyone is a winner.
Our blood colors us, bloodlines, roots stretched into our fingers and toes, labeling us by our fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, pulsing our mothers quietly beneath our names. We trace our lineage across mountains and rivers, but we can't escape our blood, swimming with our lettering, ATCG words staining our skin and soaking into our person, logged into programs wired in us as children, picked up with a glance, a look, a second. It's all in our veins, asked for a sample instead of a story, to test where we belong. A vampire world that sucks out a life and reads it in syringes, looks at the colors coded into us so it can see what we are. Our ancestors stay silent as we're copied onto forms, caged by our dripping, pricked fingers, trapping who we are. Funny that we all bleed the same color, draining from our skin.
In order to receive acceptance, to move on, to help, to grow, reflection needs to spin upon as a tool for future toil. Look back at strife and struggle that those of color have been through. Look back at separation, at the wall that blocked the two, the three, the four, the five, the million, of racist cultures you, the communication and relations that didn't happen or were few. Then slowly those with drive emerged as architects, workers, painters. They built the bridges and formed the paths, their brushes streaked the papers. But work is still needed, more leaders must show, efforts have to continue in order to grow.
The leaves are thick and green and canopied above me in such a way I feel very calm, very safe. I do live in one of the safest neighborhoods, a slice of white security on the cusp of less pristine areas. You can tell because it's so incredibly green here. A neatly manicured lawn framing each freshly painted dollhouse. We're so liberal and progressive here. See what good people we are from our bumper stickers? Our activism is obvious from our Obama signs. But most people in my neighborhood have never walked on foot into Homewood. They are safe behind modestly expensive cars, expensive enough to be comfortable but not boastful. Walking into Homewood would make them feel guilty and defensive and scared like a minority, scared to be confronted by black faces and uncontrolled greenery, or no greenery at all. A block into an adjoining neighborhood, they would panic. They would get a taste of what a non-white person feels every day in our city, surrounded by European features, constantly on guard, always aware of race, keeping their receipts in case they are accused of stealing. But I have never been followed around in a store. The cops only serve and protect on this side of Penn Avenue.
When did the Ghanaian coast show me slave boats, not cruise ships? When did the holes in history books and literature lessons become filled with horror stories? When did the CNN nightly news turn into my neighborhood nightly obituary? When did Instagram selfies in shops get me an instant follow back by the boys in blue? When was the day I realized? My melanin makes mainstream media mark my story as meaningless. My afro assumes that on any day I'd appreciate my assassination. My protests and peace signs plead for police to put me dead in the ground. The struggles of my brown brothers and sisters are now a cliche. The concrete jungle isn't filling up with flowers, there is blood on the leaves. My childhood swing set is now filled with poppy trees. Remember swinging from the poppy trees? Nothing hurts more than looking at the world and not seeing friends but feeling fear. We're forgetting where we were made. We're forgetting that we have galaxies growing inside of us. We are forgetting that we have galaxies growing inside of us. We must join together, make this all of our mission. No kid should grow up and wonder if the world thinks his life is worth living. So remember your origin. It makes us all human. Acknowledge our differences and act with understanding. No fear and keep going. No fear, keep going.